you accuse someone?
Not personally, but I'd give the order. I'm not normal. Humanity can't handle freedom.
What is your last name?
I don't think I'm going to tell you that. Hilary.
Hi.
Addison, good morning.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. Jeff in Las Vegas. Thanks for joining me today.
Sure, thanks.
Well, your movie, When I'm a Moth, very different, very interesting film. I think at the beginning of the film, when you have a disclaimer that says this is a work of fiction, we're going to be, when they have to put that right up front at the beginning of a film, I think we're in for something interesting and unusual. So
Yeah.
Did that translate for you when you read the script?
Yeah, sure. I guess, in the description of the script before I had even read it, it was, sort of a fictional telling of a story about a young Hillary Clinton, which I just thought was interesting in general. So yeah, I definitely knew that going in. And I thought that was, an interesting and unique perspective or idea for filmmaking, just sort of like this imagination, reimagined history, or, sort of a perspective on that time and being a young woman and who Hillary might have been or what she might have been like. So I just think that is pretty cool.
Yeah, because the premise of When I'm a Moth is what if? What if college age Hillary Clinton worked as a fishmonger in Alaska in 1969? So with that kind of premise, you're pretty much given a free creative hand to kind of make up whatever you want, but still keep the essence of Hillary Clinton, of her convictions, of her personality, but on a different path. So I thought it was very unusual.
Yeah, definitely unusual. But again, it was a fun sort of like exploration for me as an actor. I admire Hillary Clinton so much, and it was really exciting to like go back and read everything that she had read everything there was to be read about her, and also listen to her speak and the speeches that she made at Wesleyan, and all of those kind of things, to go sort of back and revisit the kind of personality she was and sort of like the remarkable career that she had. It was also cool because while we were making the film was, in the months leading up to the elections, this was like 5 years ago or more. So that was also really cool as well, to be sort of deep diving in this person's personal history while she was sort of really front and center in the culture at the moment.
And the movie also explores romance during this time also, huh?
Yeah, I think in any sort of like coming of age story or imagined or otherwise, sort of seeing a young woman or a young person navigate relationships outside of their home when they're on that 18, 19 sort of precipice of life, I think is a pretty natural thing to explore. So yeah, I thought it was a really interesting way to do it. And my fellow actors on this film were so great.
Well, it humanizes her, I think, having a romance, a love story.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So did you get good at gutting fish in this movie?
I didn't get good at it. No, I think I was actually, if I remember correctly, I was really sick on that day of shooting. I had no speaking voice. So it ended up being sort of like the perfect timing, because it was like the only day in which I wasn't like yapping. But it was pretty revolting, I remember. And there was like, I did some light gutting. I didn't go method for that part of it.
And tell me about working with two directors, correct? I mean, how does that work?
Yeah. That was interesting. I'd never done that before. And, they were really on the same page about what they wanted everything to look and feel like. It seemed like, so in that way, it's almost even hard to remember it being two. I mean, they really were functioning as a unit.
Well, it's very unusual to have two directors, and I would assume each had their own strengths, because that's why some directors are like very technical, some are actor based, that each have their own strength for the film.
Yeah. And the tricky thing about talking about this movie now is that I don't have the strongest recollection of everything because it was such a long time ago. But I do remember that, like, I remember that there were things that were sort of like specifically divided between them. But and you know, with the look of a film, so much of it is the DP as well, who was so fantastic. But I kind of feel like this is going to be terrible. I don't really remember, but I do feel like they were always really on the same page. But there might have been stuff like more as far as how things looked aesthetically that Magdalena was a little bit more involved in. But in general, they were like, yeah, two right hands.
Well, Addison, congratulations on When I'm a Moth, on your unbiopic. I guess they're claiming it to be. Congratulations. And when you have a chance, come visit us in Las Vegas. We'd love to have you.
Oh, cool. Okay, great. That sounds fun. Thanks so much.